Hi, I'm Cheryl Rodey, and you're listening to the Chicago Singer-Songwriter Podcast.
Hey, this is Chris Dever, and you're listening to episode 10 of the Chicago Singer-Songwriter Podcast, here with Cheryl Rodey. Cheryl, how are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So you drove over here from Lincoln Square.
I did, yes.
Right, how was the drive?
It was okay. Could have been a lot worse.
Nice.
Yeah, the traffic wasn't so bad for once.
And how's life up on the north side?
It's good, It's good. I live in Foster, so it's a pain in the butt to get anywhere, but it's nice. Lincoln Square is a great area.
Now, when I met you about a year ago, you were doing the open mic scene quite a bit. Like I think I saw you at Chicago, the singer-songwriter night at Gallery Cabaret.
Yes, that's it.
And then you came out to Nightcap to do a fundraiser with me for our friend Janet Garcia. Are you still doing the open mic thing?
Not as much as I was for a while. I've been pretty preoccupied with, I'm in 2 bands now, so we're rehearsing a lot. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to do as many Chicago open mics as I have been in the past, but every once in a while I'm able to get out and go, which is nice.
And where are you playing these days?
Let's see. Well, when I get to go to open mics, which one of my bands is from the Chicago suburbs, Downers Grove area, we go to the Ballydoyle Irish Pub open mic on Wednesdays, and that's pretty nice. But if I'm not there, I'll go to the Gallery Cabaret one, so I can play some original music and hear what other people are writing and things like that, which is really cool.
Yeah, let's talk about your original music.
Yeah.
You just put out an EP.
I did.
Congratulations, first off.
Thank you.
It's really good.
I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it's 5 songs, but they're acoustic. It's real stripped down. It's just you and a guitar, a couple like multi-track things going on.
Oh, there's actually 6 songs. I did it on Bandcamp, where if you buy the EP for $4, you get a bonus track.
And it's $4, right?
$4 on Bandcamp, and I did put it on iTunes, so you can buy them separately. And of course, if you want, and listen through all 6 songs.
And you recorded it yourself?
Yes, my very good friend Sean Black. He lives in Naperville. And he was gracious enough to help me out, and let me use some of his equipment. And, we did it all ourselves, all of it. Even 2 of the tracks I recorded in my own room in the city, which is pretty cool. And you never would have guessed. We even mastered it ourselves and everything. It was pretty exciting, and it turned out pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a theme with this album, or was it just songs that you had sort of sitting around?
A lot of them were newer songs. I've only put 1 song on there that was from like my freshman year of college. Everything else I've written in the past couple of years. No major theme there. Lots of heartache type songs, But those are the easiest to write. So
yeah, I get that. It was
yeah.
I mean, even the 3 songs you played tonight, they've all got that theme to it, which we'll get into that a little bit more later. But how long have you been writing?
Man. Well, I've been seriously writing music with guitar and singing since I was, I think, 15, 16. Way back in high school. I think it was sophomore year, maybe freshman year. I can't remember. But I remember when I was a kid, in grade school, I was in an all-girl group, and we, like Spice Girls type stuff, and we would write songs. We would just sing stuff. And I actually remember some of it, like from way back when. It was really funny. Like we had lyrics that we wrote down, and it was very like, boy band, girl band type feel to it. And this was like in 4th grade. But seriously, I started writing songs probably when I was 16.
Did any of the other girls from that group end up becoming musicians later on down the road?
I don't think so, actually. I've actually reconnected with one of them before, and she said it was great and how I was still doing the music stuff. But no, I don't think so. One of them is an actress. She's doing the whole acting thing, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, still staying artsy.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you started fairly young. I mean, especially compared to some of my recent guests who have just started writing in the last couple of years. You've been doing it for a while.
I have.
And it shows. I mean, you've got your songs are very well structured. You've got a very poppy, accessible, approachable sound. People see you at open mic nights, and right away they connect with your music. They hear your CD, and it's like, oh, okay, I either like it or don't right away. There's no sort of like, oh, I need to get into this to figure it out kind of stuff. It's very approachable. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How do you approach songwriting?
I had a feeling I was going to be asked this question. For me, a lot of times I'm just feeling inspired. And so most of the time I try to play what I hear in my head. Like one of the very first songs I wrote, I had no idea what I was doing on guitar, and I was driving home, and I heard this like little thing in my head, and I was like, oh, I want to like try to figure that out on guitar. Didn't know what I was doing. Turned out to be, a great song, and people like throughout college just knew me by that song, Anything But Ordinary. It's just kind of like this girl anthem, like high school girl anthem song or whatever. And for that one, I pretty much was just singing what I felt, I usually put rhymes in there and stuff like that. I try to make it sound like, I don't know, make it easy for someone to listen and someone to understand what I'm singing, and somebody can relate to it, I guess. But it's rare when I sit down and I think, how can I make this song more approachable or something, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, kind of hard to explain.
Does the melody come first for you? Like, would you hear certain phrases that you're just like, oh, that would make a cool chorus, or that would make a cool verse?
Sometimes.
Or do you write the chords first and then write words around it?
I have done both. I've also written lyrics first and then came up with songs for it as well. A lot of times I'm sitting on my guitar and I'm goofing off and I'll do something weird. I'm like, ooh, that sounded really good. I liked that chord, or I liked the little progression I did. And I just kind of try to follow, like the melody kind of comes with it. And I kind of try to follow what I'm picturing in my head and see if I can make it sound that way. And then I've had songs where I've had the same chords forever, but it's taken me forever to write a melody on top. Or I've had a melody in my head and then try to figure out the chords under it. And sometimes it just all happens together.
Nice. So
yeah.
You don't have a formula for it, just...
No, sometimes it just kind of happens.
Hits,
yeah, it's just however it hits me. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, if you haven't paused and went and bought Cheryl's CD yet, you're going to after we hear her first song. This one's on the EP. It's called Gone.
It's been a long time since I said goodbye, and at times it still makes me wanna cry. Guess you can say I've just been getting by. And though I know we didn't belong, and I know I'm stronger now that you're gone, I still feel weak when I hear our song. But it's gone, gone, gone. No, you took it all away. All my faith and my trust, and you threw it on the ground. And now it's gone. All my faith in love is shattered, filled with broken pieces of my heart. It's gone. Well, I'm done with all my crying, 'cause at least I know I still have my soul. I'm reminded of places we used to go. The nostalgic memories are haunting me so. Tell me, why does it take so long to let go? Maybe 'cause you told me forever while I looked in my eyes, but that was once the truth that turned to lies. Who knew this would only end in hurtful goodbyes? But it's gone, gone, gone. Oh, you took it all away. All my faith and my trust, and you threw it on the ground. And now it's gone.
This one is a breakup song.
Yeah.
Is that fair? I mean,
pretty.
simple.
Yeah, it was. It's kind of a little while after a breakup song. Like you're still remembering it, and you're like, man, that totally screwed me up. But there's kind of this positive note to it. Well, I have my soul. I have this song. I still have things, even if I'm feeling doubtful about other stuff.
Yeah, which it's so easy. I mean, with anything that life throws at you, to feel like you've lost everything.
Yeah.
And with art, or if you've got a craft or a skill, like you've still got that to fall back on. Mm-hmm. When life throws shit at you,
do
you just like bury yourself in songwriting and recording?
I do. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes I have to just kind of sit there and process it, and then later on I'll go back and I'll feel it all over again, and I'll write a song from it, and it's great. Other times it's just right there. It's just, I know it's right there, and I'm feeling it right then, and all of a sudden the song comes up, and I'm like, man, that felt so good. And then I have to sing it, and I have to play it all the time, because it's like, it's a coping thing. It's like a drug. You just have to take it, keep on doing it over and over again to make yourself feel better in a way.
Yeah. And I like the rhythm of this one. Like it's self-contained, because you've got the rhythmic sort of strumming. You don't need percussion, because it's all there. It's very much a singer-songwriter song, because you can do it by yourself.
Very acoustic type song.
Yeah. Have you done this one with a band?
I have. My band Ophelia Gray, we play this tune. I'm getting the guys to sing some harmonies on it. It's a lot of fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It was interesting, though, trying to get that one as a full band type song, because I'm doing so much rhythmic stuff on guitar that it could have gone so many different ways, but I think it's really kind of coming together now and sounding good, which is nice.
And what kind of instrumentation does Ophelia Gray have?
It's me on guitar, electric and acoustic, and you got a lead guitar, a bass, and then drums. So just a 4-piece band.
Yeah, and you're taking songs that you wrote before, or are you guys writing new stuff now?
Right now, we're mostly doing a lot of my material. And kind of creating it into something together, which is awesome. And then, I know my bassist, Herb, he writes all kinds of music. He has so many musics he's written too, and he's a fantastic guitar player as well. And so we're going to start incorporating some of his music. And then also my lead guitarist, Dave, also writes music. And then my drummer, Mike, he's the same way. He hears lots of things musically in his head. So we're excited to get to the point where we can really start collaborating and writing music in practice, which I think we've kind of touched base on, but it hasn't really expanded yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together?
Not very long. It's kind of an interesting story. I probably started playing with Mike, the drummer, almost a year ago, and then just trying to find new people. We had a bassist, and then he ended up leaving us in December, I think. And then we found Dave over the summer as well, the guitarist. And so we were struggling to find a bassist for a while, and then we found Herb just a couple months ago. I think 3 months ago, maybe, around the new year. So really, it's only been us as a full band for like 3 or 4 months.
Okay, so you guys are still kind of finding your groove.
Yeah, we are. It's still very new, but very exciting. Everyone in that group is insanely talented. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's really cool.
When people ask you what you sound like, with that band in particular, do you have an answer for them?
That's always I find one of the most difficult questions that I have to answer is, like, what's your genre? What do you guys sound like? Even as a singer-songwriter as well, I'm like, well, I sound like a singer-songwriter. And with them, it's different because everyone brings in their own style. Like, my drummer loves U2, so he's always thinking of U2 and like Coldplay and stuff. And then my lead guitar player is very bluesy when he plays. And then, there's me, which has this like singer-songwriter, pop meets rock meets funk in some of the stuff. So that's kind of what we are. I think we're just kind of calling ourselves indie alternative or something. But it definitely meets that pop, rock, and blues sound, I think. That's what I usually say.
I remember the first time I saw you, right away I thought, she sounds like Sarah Bareilles.
I gotta tell you, You know that Time Hop app where
Yeah.
you can look back? That was almost a year ago because I wrote, oh my gosh, some guy just told me I sounded like Sarah Bareilles. And that made my like week. Even that, because she is my hero. Like, I just completely love her. So when you told me that, I was freaking out. I was like, oh, that's amazing. I love Sarah Bareilles. That's the best compliment anyone could have ever given me. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
So thank you.
And since then, you met her.
Oh, I
at a show,
did.
right?
Oh my gosh, I did. Yeah. She played at Chicago Theater last summer, and me and my best friend, we waited outside, and we're like, it's probably not going to happen, but we still waited, and she ended up coming out. Got to take a picture with her. I like sounded like I screamed in her face. I was like, you're my hero! Like, yelled at her. I felt so bad, but I was so excited, and she just laughed at me, and it was awesome.
She seems like a pretty approachable.
Oh yeah, she's so cool. She's so cool. Like, it wasn't like a meet and greet type thing, but it was definitely at least got to take her picture and tell her that she's my hero. Like, so it was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Who else inspires you?
I love Adele. I remember when I listened to, or was it 21 when that came out? I was just so inspired by that album. I listened to that album on repeat. It was crazy. Paramore, definitely Paramore. I have some songs that, like, I remember when I wrote it, I was like, oh man, I'm totally into Paramore right now. And I could tell by the way my songs were starting to sound. They were definitely influencing my sound. Let's see. A Fine Frenzy, have you heard of her?
Yeah.
Love her stuff. So in college, I had this playlist, and it was just a mix of Sarah Bareilles, Paramore, and A Fine Frenzy. And one of my friends was like, I was cleaning his basement, and he was like, man, I can see where you get your sound from. Like, because it's definitely a little bit of all those, people and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely strong female frontmen.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Frontwomen, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, like very powerful voices, very powerful presences, often outspoken. I mean, Sarah Bareilles with her Brave song, like just such a powerful
Anthem.
song.
Yeah.
Anthem. Is there a desire to fill that role someday for you?
Oh, definitely.
To be a role model for young women?
For me, it's I want to just share my music. I think the best music makes you feel things that you didn't know you could feel. And the best music is the type of music that you can relate to and you think, man, someone else gets it. And I just want to share that. I just want to let people know that, hey, I felt it too. And I want to share with them a piece of me, hoping that maybe they'll be able to understand it too, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's always hard to describe that, but music is the most universal language ever. And to be able to touch people with that would be amazing. And that's my dream, is to be able to just share it with everyone and have them, feel a connection through that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on that note, let's listen to another song. This one's called It Finds Me.
These songs replay memories, the ones I can't forget. I sit there and listen, starting to regret. The only movement is my heart sinking so low I can't breathe. Speak, because the music says it all. Every note, every beat reminds me of every touch and every kiss. It finds me. Every note, every beat reminds me of every touch and every kiss. It finds me deep in my soul. All these chords that just can't hide. Oh, deep in my soul, the music is stuck inside. just when I thought it was over. So I close my eyes and sang, just to try to get a little closer to ever known, ever be. Reminds me of every sigh and every tear. It finds me. Oh, and ever know, ever be. Reminds me of every sigh and every tear. It finds me deep in my soul. Are these chords that just can't hide? Oh, deep in my soul, the music is stuck inside of me. Oh, of me, yeah. Oh, inside of me. Yeah, yeah. It finds me. These songs replay memories, the ones I can't forget. I sit there and listen, starting to regret. The songs, I wrote at two very different times in my life. Like, it wasn't finished when I, how do I describe this? Let's see, how the song started was just like early in college, like freshman or sophomore year. I'm sitting in my car and I'm listening to this CD that reminded me, you know, of someone I had dated. And I just like was thinking this, like, it's like a poem, you know. It was, these songs replay memories, the ones I can't forget. I sit there and listen, starting to regret. And the only movement's my heart sinking, so I can't breathe or speak because the music says it all. And it was just about, you know, how no matter where you are or anything like that, you hear a certain song or something like that, it brings you back to a place and back to a feeling. And it's like, wow, it's like this different type of nostalgia, but a little more intense, like this. You knew exactly how you felt at that moment. It's like every time fall comes around, you smell the leaves, it brings you back to a place. And that fall definitely does that for me. But that's what this, that's how this song started, was me thinking about that. And then a couple years later, let's see, my senior year in college, something like that, I had a major writer's block, major. And I was like, man, I just need to sit down and write something. It was totally messing me up. So I'm in a practice room and I'm just playing the guitar and I find these chords. I'm like, man, these are really cool chords. I like how this sounds. And I look at my computer, I'm looking for old lyrics, seeing if I have something that might fit. And I found that. And I was like, wow, okay. So I had a first verse and I basically had a chorus. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just putting my fingers down, just singing it, just seeing what could come up. And then I was like, okay, I have to figure out a second verse. So I just closed my eyes and sang. And kind of what came out was about me and my writer's block. And it was, I can't believe I'm here again when I thought it was over. So I closed my eyes and sang just to get a little closer to every note and every beat. It reminds me of every sigh and every tear, you know, about just being in a tough place and how music connects you to that. Like, you just want to get closer to it because deep in my soul, the chords can't hide. The music's stuck inside. So that's what that song's about. It's a little bit everything. It's just involved in music and how it just can bring any emotion out of you and how you just always can feel it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. There's a lot going on in that
yeah,
song.
I think that's one of my most favorite songs I've ever written. I always feel it every time I do it. It's just that song means a lot to me. I really hold that one close.
Have you ever gotten really emotional on stage when you're playing?
Oh, totally.
Because I mean, your songs have an intensity to them. They build, and as somebody listening to them, you're like, oh my god, my heart's welling up, or something hits you. As the person that wrote that, and you're performing it, and performing the way you do, in such like an explosive kind of style. I mean, it's got to be powerful sometimes.
Yeah, I've had moments like at open mics or shows or something like that, and especially that one, I've gotten so into it, I could feel it like getting like, oh man, I'm like, my adrenaline was pumping, and I'm getting, a little choked up or a little teary eyed. I'm like, whoo, I was really feeling that one. Like, it's just sometimes there's just certain songs when you're just so deep inside of it, and like it's just explosive. It's like an out of body experience sometimes. And that song, definitely, I am burying myself in that song when I sing that one.
You mentioned that you had lyrics on your computer.
Oh, yes.
Is that how you write, or do you write in a notebook?
I used to have notebooks, and so I remember in college, all of my binder, or like any spiral notebook I had for class, there were random lyrics in there or whatever. And by lyrics, I mean like little stanzas, like little ideas. Some of them I wrote like full-on lyrics that I just have no music to. And then I decided one day just to like put them on one computer, everything I had, so I knew I had them in one spot. So I have a folder of a bunch of finished songs or finished lyrics, and a folder of a bunch of unfinished stuff. So if I'm ever feeling something, or I wrote something, and I'm like, well, I wonder if I have something that will kind of go with this. So I'll be like, oh, I remember I wrote this little lyric. I should go and look for it and see if that'll work. And I actually have a lot of them on my phone. Like the little notes in the iPhone. I have lots of random little lyrics in there.
That's actually how I wrote most of the stuff from like the last year, was just on my phone, because that's what I always have with me. Like, I never have a paper and pen in my pocket, but I've always got my iPhone on me.
Yeah. I've driven home before and like made a note with Siri, and like I'm on Lakeshore Drive. I'm like, oh my God, I just thought of something great, and just like have Siri put it in my notes for me. And it's great too, because it's like a journal. You look back through your notes and you're finding stuff from years ago, and you're like, whoa,
yeah,
wow, that was deep. You're like, oh, I remember that, or I wrote that. I don't remember. Like, it's fun.
And it's great too. Like, we kind of take it for granted, the technology, but the fact that you can be in your car and not have to like pull out paper and pen and draw on your steering wheel, or have to pull over to write something,
right,
for risk of like losing it by the time you get somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. Or even at night, I've had times where I'm laying in bed and I'm like, oh man, I have like something in my head. And I was like, because they say you get most creative at night. Mm-hmm. And that used to kill me, because I'm always living with family or roommates. I'm like, oh, there's nothing I can do about that right now. So I'll roll over and I'll either make a voice memo on my phone and just kind of like sing it a little bit, or I'll make the note on my phone so I can fall back asleep. And I remember in high school, I'd be like, I'm too tired, like already mostly in sleep. And you're like, I'll remember it in the morning, and then you forget it. I'm like, I knew I should have just written it down. Yep, that happens a lot.
How often do you write songs?
That's a good question, because it depends on how often do I write fully written songs, or how often do I write half fully written songs.
How often do you sit down to write?
Not often enough, I find, especially being so busy with just driving back and forth to the suburbs or things like that. But just to like really sit down and write, sometimes it's, I'm feeling it, so I just like, okay, bye world, I need to go write this song. And sometimes it's like, man, I haven't written anything in a while, let me sit down and try to write something. It does not always work for me. For me, it's very much I'm feeling inspired, I write something type of feeling. I find it harder for me to sit down and just go, okay, I need to write a song. Very rarely have I done that and a song comes out and it's really great.
Yeah.
But it's worked. Sometimes I'll be goofing off. Like I'll have a friend, my best friend this has happened so many times. She's been sitting there and I'm playing guitar and all of a sudden I'm writing a song. I'm like, whoa, write this down. And like sometimes it's not the best song, but I've written so many songs just doing that. So it's never for me just like a sit down and write process. It's sometimes just kind of happens.
When you get something that you later realize is crap, it's just like a throwaway song, is it tough to let it go, or is it just like, oh, whatever, no big deal?
it's kind of whatever, no big deal. Yeah, because I have a handful of songs where they're just like little filler songs or cute little songs that I really never play for anyone either, that only a few people really know, or like from like high school or something. I have so many songs that I've had where it's like, oh yeah, I remember that song. I do not play that anymore. That's goodbye. That's the long goner, you know.
But you do document a lot of the stuff. Like you've got a lot of videos on your Facebook page and on YouTube of stuff. Do you record most of what you have just to have it?
I used to in high school a lot, and the way I used to record in high school with the desktop was I had a karaoke machine that had the tape player in there, and I would put a microphone in front of my guitar and in front of my mouth, and I would record it through that. Or I'd go through my computer and put the microphone, like, I don't even know, how did I get this on my computer? It was something through the karaoke machine again. I'd put my microphone through the karaoke machine and then put a microphone up to the speaker in the karaoke machine to get it go through the computer.
So like the
there's like
karaoke
this like
machine was your mixer.
Yeah. So there's this like loud, really bad buzz in the background, and then you hear like 16-year-old Cheryl singing a bunch of songs that I wrote and stuff. It's really funny. Or just like little guitar parts and stuff. It's so bad. Every once in a while I have my music on shuffle, and one of those for some reason will pop up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Why did my friends like me?
It's bad when you hear it. It's even worse when like somebody happens to be over and they like click on something. You're like, no. Don't play that one. It's bad.
And of course, some of my high school friends were like, oh, I remember this. This is so cute. Because I used to make little tapes for my friends of songs I've written and whatnot. And that's how I did it. It was ridiculous. But now I have Pro Tools and Logic and GarageBand, and I try to really record as many songs as I've written as I had, so I know I have them. Because I've had a couple of times where I've written something in high school or in college, and I've forgotten it now. Like, I have the lyrics, I vaguely remember it, but I'm like, I really don't remember how to play that, which is unfortunate. So I have a lot of missed, like, floating around songs that I'm like, oh, that's a goner.
Well, it's nice too, especially with like having a band or two bands that are remote, that you can just email them a song and be like, hey guys, let's work on this, or here's a new one I wrote, what do you think?
Yeah, a lot of when we were starting off as a band and trying to get some original music, I had a bunch of songs that I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit down with my guitar and my voice and just do, straight run-throughs of a bunch of songs that I think would be good for us to learn. And I think I did like 14 songs. I put them on Dropbox and was like, listen through them. Which ones do you want to do? Because we were trying to, get all this original music together to get people to hear us and stuff. So, yeah, that's how I did it.
Well, let's listen to a brand new song.
Yes.
This one's not on the EP.
It's not.
Because it's too new.
It is too new.
It's called Slip Away.
How many glasses have I had tonight? I'm not sure. They say this numbs the pain, but I know there's no cure for the emptiness that fills me to the core. In that space that was filled with you once before. It seems you chose another. You can see it on your face. And I should have known better. Still I let you slip away. Lost in a world of questions and fears, wondering what happened to our love after all Now I know it seems you chose another. You can see it on your face. And I should have known better. Still I let you slip away. Should've known better. Oh, I should've known, should've known. Still let you slip away. Oh, I let you slip away. Oh, I let you slip away. Oh, 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 I should've known better. Oh, I should've known better. Oh, I should've known, should've known. Oh, 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 so I let you slip away. Oh, let you slip away. Seems I chose another. You can see it on my face. And I should have known better. Still you let me slip away. Oh, and it seems I chose another. Oh, you can see it on my face. Oh, and you should have let me slip away.
Now this one, you mentioned your band's going to be playing.
Yes.
Where at?
We actually have a show at the House of Blues coming up in the Foundation Room. It's the little VIP room that they have there, which I didn't really even know existed, but it does. And we're pretty excited about it. You know, this is our first show where people are coming out to see you play. You're not just in some bar or background music, or people don't stumble upon you or something. You know, it's a VIP room. In order for it to come in, you have to tell people Ophelia Gray. Like, there's a password. And there's no cover or anything, 21 over, but it's awesome. We're pretty excited about it. A little stressed because it's in 3 weeks, and we have to.
What's the date of it?
May 1st.
May 1st.
Yes, Friday, May 1st. Starts at 9. We'll have a band open for us. And then we'll play for probably like an hour and a half, maybe, I think. And then afterwards, there'll be a DJ. So it'll be a full-on fun night.
Man, are you guys sticking around for the DJ?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be dancing my butt off. For sure. I love dancing.
You have the like post-show high going on where you just feel like everything's a blur.
Yeah.
All night people are like, oh my God, great show. You're like, I know, come dance with me.
Hopefully. Because, there might be some people there for us to talk to. We have a manager. Her name's Suzanne. She's amazing. And she's the one who hooked us up with the House of Blues gig. And she was telling us, this is good because if this goes really well, we'll be able to hopefully open up for a band on the big stage, which will be amazing. Talk about exposure.
Yeah. And for a band that's only been together for a couple weeks or months, that's incredible.
We're pretty excited and a little anxious. But excited. Definitely excited. It'll be a lot of fun.
How many songs are you guys going to do?
That's what we're trying to figure out. Right now we have at least 6 originals, which is good. We'd like to add some more, but again, kind of a new band, so with this coming so soon, we would love to be able to play all originals, but we just don't have the time to try to write and learn them all.
Sure.
So we'll probably do like half originals, half covers. So I'm guessing more than 14 songs, I'm sure.
And now that you're mentioning covers, you were the one that told me that when you play a show, especially when you're just starting out, to do a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 covers to every 1 original song.
Yes. I've played a handful, like more than a handful of bar gigs now, and I found that, yes, it very much works. Like 2 or 3 songs of covers, and then you sandwich your originals in there, and you find that people are more willing to listen to you, because a lot of people just want to hear what they know, especially at bars or, you know, or restaurants and stuff like that. And then if they're liking what they hear, you're like, you know, you're playing covers that everyone you think will like, or then you sandwich your songs in there. They're like, oh, what was that? I liked that. And then you're like, oh, I wrote that song, because people are listening to you. So they're like, oh, cool. I like your stuff. Where can I find it?
What are some covers that you play?
Let's see. I play Adele, of course. I do a fun version of Jackson 5's I Want You Back. But I kind of took it from Katie Tunstall's cover of it, which is totally awesome. If you don't know it, check it out. And I did my own rendition of that one. And then as the band, for sure, we have some Alanis Morissette, Janis Joplin, of course, many big female vocalist stuff. I do Best of You by Foo Fighters a lot too, acoustically, and that's a lot of fun. That one usually gets people's attention because I think they don't expect it. And I like doing songs that people don't expect me to sing, which is a lot of like male lead songs or something. I did this fun mashup of All About That Bass with Under the Boardwalk.
Nice.
I'll throw that in there sometimes. And yeah, the only genre I don't ever really cover is country. I don't sing a lot of country or listen to a lot of country. But yeah, otherwise I just try to do a little bit of everything. Try to get everyone's someone will hear a song that they know and it gets their attention.
Mm-hmm. You split your time between the suburbs and the city. Your band's out in the suburbs. You do the open mic out in the suburbs. Mm-hmm. What are some differences you see between Chicago and anywhere else?
It's very different. Lots of Chicago places, they appreciate it a little bit more. They appreciate the music a little bit more, but you're not going to make any money really, unless if you're playing in like venues that are made for, you know, singers or musicians and stuff. But it's also like that in the city or in the suburbs sometimes too. Some places, you know, they don't pay a whole lot, but you're probably more likely to make a lot of tips. I just had a gig in LaGrange not too long ago, 3-hour gig, and I made almost as much in tips as I did it for the night. I made $100 tips, and I was like, what?
Wow.
I was like, I should always play in the suburbs, and especially like suburbs that, you know, are a little on the nicer side. They're more willing to give money. I was extremely surprised by that, but it was awesome. You don't usually see as much of that in the city, but you find that people pay more attention to you in the city than they do in the suburbs.
Interesting. See, I would have thought it was the opposite. I would think that people in the city, it's so oversaturated that it's just background noise.
I think it's a healthy mixture of it on both ends, but a lot of times suburbs, a lot of places you're going to play are like restaurants or sports bars. People aren't really there to listen to someone sing or more background music. Unless if you're playing at a place that is meant for your show, that is meant for music, then people will listen to you, but, you know, you'll be on a stage, you can't really tell it's loud. But if you go into the city, you know, and you're playing songs that people like, people are going to sing with you. People are going to love singing with you. Like, I feel like you get a little bit, depending on the place, you get a little more attention by playing in a dive bar than you would by playing in like a sports bar. People hear you, but you can't really tell because it's loud. People are there to watch sports and eat and drink. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
That might be like a really negative view on it, but it's really not. I've had, like, there's times in the suburbs where that one gig I had, I was playing at this small Italian restaurant and people were loving it. And you're never really sure because people are sitting there and eating. You're not really sure how people are taking it in. But it's great.
Did you say that was a 3-hour gig?
It was a 3-hour gig, yeah.
Did you just cycle through songs, or did you have 3 hours of material?
I have more than 3 hours worth of material. I have a big binder that I have of tabs. So Before that, in January, I did a 4-hour gig by myself. It was a surprise party. Another great thing about suburbs, you have people who want to do private parties, and then you have block parties. And I did 2 block parties, which got me a private party, and that private party, paid me really well. And they wanted me to play an extra hour. Only that gig. Since I was mostly background music for the first 3 hours, I just didn't take a break. I only, got up twice for like a minute or two. And then it was just playing through, you're not singing full on or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then towards the end of it, they're like, can you play another hour? We want to dance. They've been drinking. I'm like, oh man, I don't even know if I have that much material. Plus my fingers are starting to turn green from my strings. I had a big welt on my arm. My fingers were like green and like red and black. I was like, sure, they were going to pay me more. So I did. And that kind of stuff is great because that type of exposure there, thing about suburbs, it's all word of mouth. People are like, oh, you were great. We'll pass you on to our neighbors. We'll pass you on to our friends. And because of that, I've gotten a handful of gigs and they pay you well.
That's great.
So there's definitely pluses and negatives to each side of it.
Yeah.
I'd love to be in the city and be able to play at venues, like the Metro or even Elbow Room, places that are meant for, people to go and listen to music, not just bars or background music. Mm-hmm. That's not as fun. But you have to, you got to do what you got to do. That's the way you get people to listen to you.
So you've got an album out.
I do.
You got your solo thing going.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 2 bands. Show at the House of Blues coming up.
Yeah.
It's starting out to be a pretty big year for you.
Yes.
What other goals do you have for the year? What other plans do you have people look forward to?
I'm really hoping with Ophelia Gray, with the band at the House of Blues, that's going to take off. We have some really solid connections right now, which is great. And we're hoping to be gigging a lot, which will be really, really good. And then record an EP and travel. So we're really hoping that's going to take off. That's going to take off and do well. That's the biggest plan right now. Besides that, it's just, trying to find the best way to make that happen. That's my plan for this next year. The past couple of years have been kind of hard, especially 2014 was just not a great year. And there's so many changes that are happening right now in my life and in people's lives around me that I thought, well, all these changes I have no control over. So I guess I should take control over my life and make changes that I need to make. I need to make changes. So that was my goal this year. Time to make some changes. Time to, let nothing else stop me because everything around you is changing anyway. So you got to go with it. There's no turning back.
What a great outlook.
Yeah, that is my outlook this year. Because, my parents are selling their house and, I'm still living in the city with my sister, which is great. But it's like, man, everything around me is kind of changing. Friends are moving out, things like that. And I'm getting older and I'm like, man, I need to make something happen. I can't. So I'm going to make changes. I'm going to take control. That's my outlook on it. Sometimes it's, you have your days where it's like, why did I do this? But usually it's, you can't look back. You just got to go for it.
If you met your high school self,
mm-hmm.
What would you tell her?
I think in high school I was a little unsure of myself, like most high schoolers are.
Sure.
Unsure of what I wanted for my future. And I would tell myself not to focus so hard on a backup plan, but just go for your main plan. That's something someone told me once. I think it was my dad. When I was in college, I was trying to figure out, man, what should I do as my major, blah, blah. It's like, I just want to do music. That's all I want to do. I can make that happen. But I was focusing so hard on trying to do music education or music business because that was a backup plan for if the music didn't work. But because I was focusing on that, I wasn't focusing on what I needed to. So I would have told myself there's a way to make it happen. You didn't have to think that was not an option. It is an option. If you want it, you can get it. You can always make that work. There are people who are living proof of it. It's rare, but it happens.
And it sounds like you're on your way.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're on the right path.
Yeah. I'd like to get to the point where, pretty much all I'm doing is music. Even if it's, obviously the main goal is to be all music, like all gigging all the time and writing music and, I'm reaching for the stars and I'm okay with that. I know it's a rough road, but I'm not going to let anything stop me. But I know realistically, I also have to think of what else I can do. So I'd like to get to the point where, I could teach lessons. I went to school playing trumpet. I could easily teach trumpet lessons and teach little kids how to play guitar and sing. And that'd be my life, gigging and teaching kids how to play trumpet and sing and stuff. You can totally make that happen.
Sounds like you've got it all figured out.
I'm trying. I'm glad it's coming across that way.
So people can find your album on cherylrodey.bandcamp.com.
Yes.
Where else can they find material
iTunes.
online?
They can go on iTunes. Or you can just go to my website. It's CherylRodeyMusic.com. And everything you need to find me for is on there. I have a Instagram and a Twitter and a Facebook and a SoundCloud even. I haven't updated that in a while. But definitely have some old songs, old covers on there if you want to check that out. Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, podcast listeners. Chris Dever here. I'd hate to think you're missing out on any new episodes of this podcast. So make sure you hit subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or anywhere else you're getting your podcast fix. New episodes are posted twice a month, and I'm always looking for new people to interview. If you're interested in being interviewed for the podcast, shoot me an email at chicagosinger-songwriter-podcast@gmail.com. For all the latest updates, follow me on Facebook, Chicago Singer-Songwriter Podcast, or on Twitter, @ShySSPodcast. Keep listening, keep writing, and keep playing, Chicago.